John is a little blue narrow gauge engine. He works on the mid-Sodor line, but in recent years it became unbearable. Though, one day, he was called down to the transfer yards for some special news. At the end of the line, a man stood, dressed smartly, waiting for John. "Excuse me, did you want to see me?" said John. "Yes, I am Sir Robert. I've come to make a proposition." John was intrigued. A proposition for what?" he asked. "I am the Earl of Sodor, and I have a little place at Oakstead, with a little railway that I wish for you to work on." Before the Earl even had a chance to speak, John whistled with excitement. "Oh, yes, sir, I would, sir." "Yes, grand indeed. I'll have you on a lorry, taken to Oakstead immediately. I'll sort out the arrangements right now." And he did. Eventually, John was loaded onto a lorry and taken away. He tooted a friendly goodbye as he finally left the Mid-Sodor Railway. For once, John was outside the Mid-Sodor. He'd never seen the rest of the world, mostly because of how small his line really was. He saw all types of towns and cities, and farmlands and marshlands galore. But eventually, as the day carried on, they had to stop, mostly for fuel. "Oh, thank you for having us," said Madge. "Oh, it's no trouble, really," said Caroline. "Topham's thinking of moving back to Knapford anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you park here." "On that note, where are you off to?" she asked. "Oh, we're off to Oakstead, on the Earl's private estate," replied John ecstatically. "Oh," said Caroline in dismay. "That means you have to go through Oakstead Road. What's wrong with it?" "Well, I'm not a superstitious type, but strange things happen at Oakstead Road, particularly in the forest. I saw it myself once." What did you see?" "It doesn't have a single name. It goes by many here on Sodor." Just then Terence arrived and he heard it all. "Indeed it does. Like the Oakstead monster, the white face, or even the slender engine. But true Sudricks only call it one thing. The blank." "No? Why is it called that?" shivered John. "Because it doesn't have a face. And I don't mean faceless like a mainline engine. Faceless, as in no eyes and no mouth." "Yes," chipped in Caroline. "And those who have seen it mostly have never been seen again." "Indeed. So be careful on Oakstead Road. The last thing you want to do is run into the blank." And they did. While traveling through Oakstead Road, they crossed over a rail crossing, when suddenly she hit a bump and John was thrown off the flatbed. Madge, come back! You left me behind!" But Madge was too preoccupied looking out for the blank to realize John was left alone in the cold, dark night. But he wasn't alone for long. Hello? Where am I? Hello? Hello, is anyone out there?
the spirits that haunt the night, forsaken souls that seek your soul. They all seek a similar goal, as these spirits are merely the appetizer. The grimmest ghosts are much higher. Grim ghosts free who long to be free. They merge their souls throughout time, waiting for the date of their prime. The grim ghosts will bring an end to your peace, for you are the one they seek to release.
Huh? No, this is... Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness that's over. One afternoon at Crovan's Gate, Edward and Boko were talking. So, you used to know Molly? But, yeah, she was my old friend. Back before most engines were on the island. Though, she was only here for a short time. One day, she just up and left. I never saw her again until now. Well, Edward, perhaps she has something to do with us all. Molly? No, can't be Molly. She's more of a bystander. It feels like whenever we get a new lead, there's just buffers stopping us from getting any further. Well, I've been thinking, but, what about Rheneas? It's pronounced Rheneas, Boko. Oh, potato. Rheneas has been known to talk about the mythical and the unusual. Perhaps he knows something. Brilliant idea, Watson. You know, I wish I could tag along, but I have some deliveries to make up to Oakstead. New extension on the Farquhar branch. Which also means I can finally visit Percy and learn what he knows about this. Well, then good luck to you, Edward. Good luck to you too, Boko. And Edward puffed away. Everything on the Farquhar branch was in full swing. A new extension to the branch line was being constructed, reaching into the hills of Oakstead. Sir Topham Hatt had called Edward off the Brendan branch to help, mostly because the other engines were too big to work on the branch lines. All I need to do is just leave these at the yard, and I'll go find Percy, Edward planned. And lucky for him, Percy was still at the yards, alongside Toby and Henrietta. Oh, hello, Edward, said Percy. Oh, good morning, said Toby. Yes, you too. Well, it seems everything's going well here. Oh, yes, it is, said Percy. Things are going swell. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised. I thought it would take longer than this. And honestly, with all these new extensions on the island, you think the Fat Controller would have run out of ideas by now? Well, the Fat Controller's mind is, no offense, very difficult to read. Anyway, Percy, I've been meaning to talk to you for a while now. Am I in trouble? Of course not, at least I don't think so. I've been meaning to ask you for a while about, honestly, it's very hard to say. It's, some magical engine. Oh, that story. Oh, yeah, I told Gordon that story, but he said it was rather silly. It was a story about the golden engine that disappears at random. Excuse me, what? Well, Percy, if you know where this magic engine is, could you take me to them? I'd like to meet them. Why, of course, replied Percy. I'd love to show you. I don't have much to do besides a mail train tonight, so sure. Come along now. All right then, lead the way. And Edward puffed alongside. Toby, what was that all about? Henrietta, I haven't a clue. Well, I'm just happy to see Percy happy. So am I. Meanwhile, back at Crovangateworks, Boko was still waiting for Aeneas. He had been waiting for 5 hours. Just then, Rusty rolled in. Okay, what are you still doing here? I'm waiting for Aeneas, sir. Do you know when they'll be back? Oh, no. Aeneas is at a new quarry, so he won't be back until sunset. Why sunset? I don't know. Ask Aeneas at sunset. And Rusty rolled away. Wait, that didn't answer my question at all. Rusty? Oh, fiddlesticks. Meanwhile, on a different part of the island, Percy was showing Edward where he'd last saw the magical engine. And you're sure you saw her here? Well, of course. Well, at night. I see. Edward, why are you so interested anyway? Asked Percy. Percy, it's just complicated, alright? I can't explain it through words. It's all very mysterious, even to me. Do you even remember what she looked like? Yeah, let me think. She was red, I think. Or purple. I mean, she could have been blue, it was very dark. Or she could have looked like this, or that. Honestly, Edward, I can't remember, it was too dark. Well, did she say anything? Anything of importance? Well, nothing of importance. In fact, she didn't speak at all. She just took me to a shed and disappeared. I'm sorry I couldn't help you, Edward. Oh, no, Percy. You've helped me more than enough. Now come along now, we've got to get back to work. Edward and Percy returned back to the branch line, where they began work on Oakstead. The branch was nearly finished, as the other engines had been working very hard these past few weeks. Edward would take trains of supplies and building materials down to the top station, as Percy brung back the empties. Even Lily and Mavis came down from the quarry with their free time to help with the construction. The only engine who wasn't involved, however, was Thomas. And needless to say, he wasn't very happy about it. I don't get it, Emily. It's my branch line, and apparently I'm not supposed to even go there. Only Toby is, he groaned. I think you're just jealous, Thomas, she said smugly. I guess having that branch line all on your own, as you're all puffed up in the smoke box. I'm not jealous, he snapped. I just don't understand. That's because the branch line belongs to all of you. Percy, Toby, Mavis, Lily, and you. The whole world doesn't revolve around you, Thomas. Now I must be going, it's my last chin of the day. Toodaloo! Yeah, bye. Sharp. Back at Crovangateworks, as the sun began to set, finally Aeneas arrived. Rusty said you wanted to ask me something. What do you want to know? He asked. Well, it's more so something Edward wants to know, but he's not readily available at the moment. Do you know about any magical engines, sir? Aeneas looked back and forth before saying to Boko, meet me by the double-track tunnel going to the new quarry. And come alone. Alright, I guess. And Boko rolled away. He didn't much understand why Aeneas wanted him to come there, but he didn't argue. so he just went anyway. Will the magical engine be joining us soon? Yes. He usually comes when we call him. Just give me a second. And Reneus whistled a long whistle. And from the tunnel emerged a little yellow engine Boko had never seen before. Oh, hello everyone. Reneus, who's this? This is Boko Proteus. He came asking about a magical engine and I assumed it to be you. Oh, for goodness sake, Reneus. I'm not some special object you could show off to your friends, you know. Oh, don't get chopsy with me now, Proteus. Besides, Boko might be able to help us with our little, Halloween problem. Sorry, what Halloween problem? I only really came here to get answers, not to get involved in, well, whatever's happening here. I'm afraid you won't get any answers, Boko. Mostly because I'm too preoccupied with current events. But considering how severe things are getting, perhaps you can help. But first I must tell you about the three grim ghosts. Back on the Farquhar branch, Thomas was puffing up the line, sneaking up to Oakstead to see what all the hubbub was about. You know what? Toby can have this. There's nothing special about this line, Thomas grumbled. Well, the only ghost I've ever heard of was the Oakstead Blank. Well, the three grim ghosts made the Oakstead Blank look like child's play. They would eat that spirit for lunch, and they most likely have. These three grim ghosts are not native to your world. In fact, they were locked away in purgatory long ago, but someone from this world released them. And so, they have integrated into your worlds, became part of your history. There was never any need to at Brendam Docks, and the Old Iron Bridge ghost was never violent. These ghostly variants have merely taken their place. All alone on the little branch line, Thomas felt very scared, but he wouldn't admit to it. It's just a silly branch line and nothing more. Hold on, the ghost at the bridge, the ghost of Brendam, what about the third ghost? Think of it like the ghosts of Christmas. The ghost of Halloween's past. The ghost of Halloween's present. And the ghost of Halloween's future. But, Proteus, why are these ghosts so violent? Without a life of their own, they have no care for anyone else's. Their sick and twisted spirits desire nothing but destruction. Well, excuse me for asking, but what are we supposed to do about it? We're just engines. Well, if you've proven anything to me and, well, my superior, you are more than just engines. You're resourceful, reliable, and really useful. Now Halloween's growing close, and that's when they're at their strongest, so you must stop them by any means necessary. Capture them, vanquish them, whatever. I hope that you will be successful. I trust you all. Goodbye now. Goodbye, Proteus. Yes, goodbye. Oh, wait, almost forgot. Happy Halloween! Could you believe that? Ghostly invaders from another realm? Magical engines? It's just a lot to take in. Oh no, I understand, Boko. It was hard for Scarlowy to believe it at first, but, you know, what are you supposed to do about it? Anyway, we better get prepared. Yes, indeed. Honestly, I don't even think Edward's gonna believe this. Back at Farquhar Station, Edward was wide awake when he saw Thomas, puffing back down the line. Thomas, where did you go at this hour? I went up to Oakstead, he whimpered. Thomas, you're trembling. What happened up at Oakstead? Edward asked. I don't want to talk about it. It's alright, Thomas. Just go to sleep. You still have work tomorrow. And so Thomas did. He puffed back to his shed and was as quiet as the grave. Thomas still doesn't know what he saw at Oakstead, and something tells me he doesn't want to know. But one thing we're sure of is that Thomas won't sleep a wink. Not while the three grim ghosts are still about.
Yep. Nope. Another dead end. Literally.
You've made that joke over 10 times already.
I ran out of railroad puns back at the last station. Give me a break.
I would, if you didn't get us stranded here.
How was I supposed to know it was a one-way trip? Besides, we have to keep our cool if we want to find a way back.
Keep our cool. The last meal we had was fish and chips, which, by the way, tasted horrible. I am cold, I am hungry, and I am terrified that I'm going to starve in some backwards world where everything has a face.
Actually, only the trains have faces.
Do you hear yourself? Aren't you the least bit horrified that there may be no way back?
I am scared, okay? But Mr. Conductor taught me that being brave is about what you do when you're scared. I'm not dying here. Neither are you. We will find a way home.
You better be right, because I'm not going near those trains again.